code jogging. In our previous video, we looked at how we can use Tailwind to style our login page, and we used it and we got to this stage. So today we are going to continue from where we stopped or where we left off. So before we continue, please, if today is the first time you are watching our video, please kindly subscribe to our channel, and also we've provided a Telegram link channel on the channel description. Click on it and then subscribe so that anytime we upload a new tutorial or a new video, we will notify you and you never miss any video. So if you've not subscribed and then also join our Telegram channel, please kindly do so. So now what we are going to do today is to um, add some material design to our project. And the material design I'm going to talk about, we are not going to use any JavaScript to do it. We are going to use Tailwind, only Tailwind to do it. And we will try to borrow some ideas from the normal CSS styling. Okay, so I'll try and then explain some of the new classes I'll be using in this code. Okay, I will try to explain it from the Tailwind platform as we did in our previous video. So without wasting much time, let's continue. So now the first thing I want us to look at it is the width of the login form. You can see that the login form here is too widened here, so we have to reduce it. We have to make it look like a normal login form that we know. So in our previous video, we use a container class and we look at the properties of the container class and how it's responsive it is. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are now going to use the width class in Tailwind CSS. So when the width class, we are going to look at the max width. Okay, so when you talk about the max width, we are talking about to what extent can a width reach, or what limit you want to set to our width. Meaning that maybe default the max width is 100%. We don't want the 100%. We want it to be like 25%. So it means that whatever we are going to write our code, or whenever we are running our project on a wider screen, we want the width to be like this. But if it's less than that, then it should stretch it to 100%. Okay, so that's the logic that you are going to do. So in Tailwind, it's easy for us to do it. So let's go to the Tailwind and then search for max width. Okay, so now this is the max width. So the max width, we can use as many as we want. We have a lot of attributes here that we can use. So let's use the class called the max width, and we call it max width, then we add the size to it. So in this video, we are going to use the size that's large, LG. So we are targeting the max width should be 512 pixels. So we call max width, then we make it large. Okay, so large. So let's refresh our page. There we go. So now it seems we've gotten a nice login form here. Okay, so let's switch to mobile view and see whether it's responsive. Yes, it's responsive too. So what we are going to do is now let's work on the inputs. So the inputs, I'm going to comment the button and then the password so that we can work on the username input here, the username field here, so that when we are done, we will just apply the same style to the password. Okay, so now before we work on this one, let me remove the codes that we have here. Okay, and we are going to add our own custom label. So it means that we are not going to use the placeholder here. So let's give it a parent div. So we are going to have a class. So the class, we are going to have flex width full, so 100%, and then we are going to set the height to 11. Okay, so we will have relative here. So let's remove the flex so that let's use a relative, because the label we are going to use is going to have an absolute class here. So let's copy username. Okay, so username, and then let's make the placeholder empty. Okay, so let's move this one to the side. Okay, so now we have something like this. Okay, so now we have something like this. Yes, so what we are going to do is let's add CSS Tailwind style to our input. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to use the peer. So the peer here, we are talking about when the user click on the label or the input, we want to move the label to the top so that you can provide a space for the user to type the data. And when the user type the data and then the user focus out or the user leaves the input, we want the label to check if the test field is empty. If it's empty, then come back to its default state, else stay there and then let the test or the data that the user has typed be inside. So that's the logic that we are trying to do. So, and the peer, the basic functionality is more like grouping. It listens to let's say siblings elements. For example, now we are trying to tie the input to the label. Okay, so we are tying the input to the label, so we are using the peer here. And then the next step is to make sure that the height is full and the width is full. So now the border, we are going to add border button, and then let's set the border color to blue, gray, 200. Okay, so now this is what we've got. Okay, so now you can see the border button here. We have the border button here. That's a horizontal line here, and then you have our label. So the next step you are going to do is to clear the background. So you have to set the background color to transparent, so that once we've set the background color to transparent, meaning that if we change the document or the body background to red, this text field color to inherit the red color. So now if we remove its default background, so what we are going to add next is to add the padding top 4 and then padding button 1.5. So let's refresh it now. Yes, so what we are going to do next is to change the font style, and then we will add the size to SM, and then we just reset the font weight to normal. Okay, so now we've set the font weight to normal. The next step you are going to do is let's make sure that the text becomes blue gray. So this one should be a little deeper. Okay, yes, so this one should become a little deeper. And then let's work on the outline. So the outline, we are looking at the border here. Now you can see that we refresh, we just added the outline to it, and then we are having a border from the top to the left, bottom to the right. Okay, so now we are going to set the border, the outline to 0. Okay, so we don't need it. Yes, so now you can see that when we click inside, we are good to go. We are not inheriting any blue border or anything. So the next step we are going to look at is the transition. So we have to create some small animations. So we can check the transition here. So let's use transition. So we can use the transition. Let's move on to properties. Now we are using all. So this is the properties that we are going to use. So let's use the transition class all. Okay, so transition class all. And then we are going to use placeholder. So we are going to use placeholder shown. So once placeholder is shown, then we are setting the color to this. Yes, so we are going to set the focus. So when the user click inside our text field, what do you want to show? We want to show let's say color red. So red, let's make it 500. Okay, and the same focus, we are also trying to remove the outline color. So what if the form is disabled? Then we set the border to none. Border to none, that we are removing it. And then when the form is disabled, we are setting the background color to the normal blue. This one we are setting it to 50. Okay, so yes, so when you click inside, this is what we get. Okay, so we focus in, we get red, we focus out, we get the blue gray 200. So now let's work on the label. So we add our class. So let me move this one down here. Okay, let me move this one down here. So let's focus on our class. So the class, we are going to add a day, like we are going to add or let's say a test or extra test to this label. So we can do it after. So it means that at the end of this label, let's add a content space. Okay, so a space. So when we are done, then let's add the pointer events to none. Okay, so the pointer events, we are looking at, most of the browsers comes with its default behavior. Okay, so if you are not targeting a specific browser and then you want to make your web app cross platform or any, let's say, cross browsers, which is a good idea, then you have to always make sure that you reset the default style from, let's say, on the browser. You have to reset it so that the browser will use only your code. It won't add any extra code to your project or extra style or effect to your browser, to your code, sorry. So now what we are going to do is we are we are just resetting the pointer event to none. If we want to check more, we can check it from the side, from the Tailwind page. Okay, so this one, as I said, so use pointer event auto to revert the default browser behavior for pointer events like hover, click, and then okay. So use pointer none to make an element ignore pointer event. So the the pointer event will still trigger on the chart and pass through the elements, okay, which that are beneath the target. So try click on so you can read more from this platform. Okay, you can read more. But so what you have to understand is, well, we are just preventing the default events that might happen. But once we click on it, we want to interact with the group, the group element that we have. So now we are still communicating from the input to the label. Okay, so the next step we are going to do it. Now you can see that we are having the label at the bottom of the input. So we want it to look like how we use the placeholder. For example, this. So this is placeholder. So let's refresh the page. For example, this. So we want our label to be inside the test, the input field here. So that's what we are going to do. So for us to achieve that, since we have a parent div with a relative class, then we can use absolute here. Okay, yes. So then we set the left to 0 and then the top to minus 1.5. So yes, this is what we will get. So now the next thing we are going to work on is the setting the flex, and then we add the same width and then height here. Okay, so now we are going to disable the selection because as of now, because it's on top of this, so you can't select. So let me see. Yes, so we are going to add the select none. Okay, and then we are going to add the text 11 pixels, so we are using our custom text field, and then we are going to also work on the font to be normal. Okay, and then the leading to be tight. So let's look at the leading. So the leading here, we are looking at this one. So leading, we are using leading to be tight here, so that the line height should be 1.25. Yeah, so that's what we are working on. Yes. So now let's look at the test. So we are setting the test to blue gray. We are setting it to 500. Okay, then you add the transition or to it. Then let's add, after this we are adding absolute to it, and after this we are adding button to this 150. Okay, so the next step is to add after block. So we're adding extra style to it. So we are adding block, and then another one is after. So we are adding another one with full. Okay, and then we are going to add after scale x0. Okay, and then we are going to add after border bottom to 2. Okay, so the next step is, let's add after border to red, that's 500, and we have to add after transition to transform, and let's add after duration. So let's make it 300. Then pair placeholder shown. Then we should set the text to small. So okay, let's see top. Oh, sorry, top. Yes. Okay, so the next step is to add, that's the pair placeholder shown. Then the leading should be 4.25. Okay, and then you have, so we should set the text color to blue gray 500, and then you have the peer focus. That, so when we click on the label, what do you want to do? We want to set after button, that's the after border to red 500. Okay, so now you can see that we are now having our label here. Okay, so the next step that we are going to look at is, so when the user focus in, so peer focus again, then we want to reduce the text to 11 pixels. So let's see, now you can see. Okay, so the next step you are going to look at it is, so peer focus, then the leading should be tight. Yes, so now you can see, now we've added the leading to be tight, so the line height should be this. So when the user click outside, you see it stays, but when we delete it, then you see it comes back. Wow, it's nice. So now what we are going to do next is, when the user click inside it, we want to change the text color here. So let's add that one to it. So we are going to look at the peer focus again. So the peer focus, we are still talking about the now we've linked these two together. So we've tied the input and then the label together. So even if you click on the label, see, if you click inside test input, the label move to the top, and if you click on the label to the same thing. So now what we are going to do here is to change the color. So if it's focused, then we can change the text color to red 500. So let's refresh our code, and there we go. Okay, so now we can add a lot of features to it. So let's see. So um let's add focus, and then after, then we can have border red 500. So here, so we can add a lot of styling effect to it. So let's stick to this one. In our next video, we will try and then add extra things to it, like the ripple and those kind of things. But for now, this is the goal that we wanted to achieve. So we wanted to use our own custom label or placeholder, so that when the user clicks on it, then we can get our own effects. So what we are going to do next is to have something like this. So let's give it a parent div here. Okay, so let's give it a class. Let's column width, and then let's paste the code. Okay, so this is what we are going to look at. So here will be password. Okay, and then let's set the type to password. Enter password, and then here it should be password. Okay, and then we remove this one, then add our button to it. Yes, so now this is the code that we added. So let's add, yes. So now we have something like this. So we can type, or we can still increase this one. Yes. So let's make it 7 so that it will look a little nicer. And yes, there we go. So log in. So log into your account, or we can make it, let's add some small things. So user account portal. Then we can also, instead of using, they can use this one. Okay, yeah. So this one looks a little nicer. Okay. So let's give it margin button. Let's give it 5. Yes. Yes. So with this, let's give it a space. So we are adding a space between here and then the button. So we add 4. Yes. So now we've been able to achieve our goal. So in the next video, we'll be looking at how we can add forgot password and the remember me here. Okay, so we should have forgot password and remember me here, and then we will use an image as a background, and then we take it from there. Thank you for watching this video, and I believe you've understood what we've learned so far. In case you have any questions, you can leave it at the comment section. And in case you've not subscribed to our channel, please kindly do so, because we have a lot of things to teach you. And as we've said earlier, our goal is to give you the easy way to learn computer programming. You don't need to use the difficult way to understand it. We have an easy way, like how I've been doing it. So please kindly subscribe to our channel, and also use our Telegram link, and then subscribe to our channel on the Telegram, so that anytime we upload a new content, we will notify you. And then if you have any issue, you can also DM us on Telegram. If you have any suggestions that can help us to run our channel, please kindly use the channel email address, and then send us a mail. Once we receive it, we will try our best, and then see what we can do about it. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Bye bye.